Whoa, you smell so good today. Like almost as good as these greens that I'm grinding up right now for our part 12 of episode 4 of Tablet Talks. I'm your author, I'm your host, Chase Clarence Calloway, aka Chickatet, the man who invented Tehuti, which white people now love to call Thoth. So, we are translating the emerald tablets of Thoth the Atlantean and getting deep in here as we get into part 12 because we're just really dissecting all these details. This is a very detailed tablet. This is a very detailed version where it's got much more earth. Like the last episode, Daniel Raman Hoffman's transcription was like very flowery and just. If you go on Amazon and look at that book, I said it was like 100 something pages. It's actually 300 something pages of just nothing. And not nothing, but like literally like repeating itself to tell you that all is source. And just like repeat, like coming up with all these analogies, like literally just true fluff, right? Like true feminine flower power, like just infinite flowers. Like women can just create forever. And it was just that. They were just like infinite, a field of flowers meant to get you lost, meant to just put you right to sleep. So they're amazing creators. And it's just a matter of, where are we putting our energy towards consuming? Because we're all women. What is our woman? Our woman is our emotion. Our man is our thought. Our woman is our unseen. Our man is our seen. So when we think about all of our dreams, everything that we aspire for, everything we desire in general, that's our fire. That gets us passionate. That's your man. All of your emotions, everything outside of that is your woman. So everything that makes that possible is the feminine, whether you want to ignore it or acknowledge it. So that's where like demons make your dreams possible. Or else if you didn't have the opposite exist, then you wouldn't be able to have this one thing. Like there's no life in pure desire. This is why life happens with the woman, with water, with connection, not individuality like a man. It's just if a spirit desires to express itself out of the collective, it is inherently masculine because that's masculine energy to want to separate from nothingness into something. So this is why life is a balance of thoughts and feelings, men and women. I really wish these tablets would talk about it like that, but hey, that's why I'm here doing what I'm doing as Chase Clarence Calloway. This life has already been very trippy, and it is only going to get... Yeah. Everything's communicating. It's beautiful. Truly beautiful. So we're just about to be helping people correlate and connect with their spirits so that they can communicate with the true God, the true entity that made their body, and actually live out their dreams and just create in the universe in a free way. Because we're talking about ultimate freedom. Ultimate freedom is knowing that you are nothing. Everything comes out of nothing. So many spirits feel so awful about being nothing, and guess what? That's their internal issue. All right, you can't deal with that. That's them. That's literally their fire and water, which only they can see and only they can feel. And it's up to them to communicate that to you. And the more they communicate that to you, the more they're going to build structures in your life with their whack ass energy. So be careful who you let speak to you. Seriously. This is why it's so important to have that balance of letting things be seen, but keeping things unseen. Because unseen is infinitely more powerful. That's where we're talking about the darkness. We are talking about the woman. That's where you create. Anything that's seen is just what a creation looks like. So anytime someone makes themselves seen, they are showing how they create. So that's why then there's a big difference between people who create by talking negatively about others versus people who create by actually building businesses or something, right? Like we're literally talking about the ideas that we're relating on. I'm getting all these messages. All right. So it's truly about ideas and where they come from. And ideas come from emotion, from feeling. And feeling comes from nothingness. So literally, it has to be nothing into infinite chaotic feminine energy that now focuses on one imagination. And that imagination is only possible because of all this invisible stuff. All right, let's get in here. The key of freedom of space. Listen, O man, hear my voice. Teaching of wisdom and light in this cycle. Teaching how to banish the darkness. Teaching how to bring light in your life. O man, seek to find the great pathway that leads to eternal life as a sun. Okay, well, hold up. Eternal life as a sun, we're talking about leaving the death realm and going into the light realm. So that's where we get to be alone together way more. So we're way more all one here. That's why we have to actually be more all one, as in abide by the rules, abide by connections more. Know that connections are everything. Know that nothing is being done alone here. That's why your body, you're not fully in control, although you are, because it's still spirit, but you're not in control of like what's going on in your body, really. It's communicating based on its desire to keep you alive because you have a symbiotic relationship going on. So the all one realm is here to show you everything's about connections. And then from there, the more you connect with yourself, you're able to then be an individual with others. That is the point of 4, 5, and 6 of being light and being in the life realm versus the death realm. That's where you have like superpowers and just infinite expression, and we're all doing it together. So that's like cosmic freedom, just in general, like just, yeah, overall having super freedom. And then all of that is an expression of spirit. So that's why this is the earth realm, dreams. What I'm talking about, the life realm, is the water realm. We get to do way more what we feel like. Whereas in the earth realm, we do what makes sense. And that's what we're doing here, where it's like we're practicalizing and stabilizing. Things make sense. Your dreams are the astral realm, right? So your dreams don't make sense, but they're still you, right? They're still your feeling, and they correlate to your day. So your earth and water are connected. It's just your water doesn't make sense. Your water creates sense, right? It's interesting like that, but it doesn't make sense. Your earth is the sense. So then it makes sense. You feel me? Oh man, seek to find the great pathway that leads to eternal life as a sun. Draw away from the veil of the darkness. Seek to become a light in the world. So this just means shine your individuality. Create individual thoughts from your space that no one else has and that no one else can see. And when you then combine your individual infinite emotion and feelings into that thought, now you're creating the universe. You are the universe. You are your own creation. This is how you created your body, was combining fire and water. And then it created chi. And that chi is what then allowed for the creation of the heart cells and all these cells that are the earth that are then using chi to communicate the feelings that are coming out of your intention, which is being created from your individual nothingness. Your intention is then your awareness, because you personally have to limit your awareness to your creation to be invested inside of the simulation that you are projecting your feelings into. I really wish these tablets would talk about it like that, but of course they're not going to release it like that. They're not releasing any of those writings that I put out. All right, they're keeping everything. Okay, and like this is the point of this series. All right, anything that they release that was written by me is literally something that they are allowing people to read because they have specifically tailored it to fit the agenda. They are only releasing things that will promote your spiritual slavery, that will not liberate you. This is why all these variations of my tablets, although they may seem different, as we go through this whole series, episode by episode, we're going to see that the intention is constantly the same. The intention is that all is one, and you need to plug your consciousness into this other consciousness, into source consciousness, and you need to strive for this outside thing. And even though sometimes, like, they'll still use my stuff and be like, oh, search within to find source, and then they'll still say go outside. So it's like contradicting itself, its lostness, because it's literally they're just using all the truths that I put out, and only using them to, yes, lie and trap you. So they're only going to release it in a way that doesn't make sense because it makes sense for their agenda. So it's like when I'm reading this as me, none of it makes sense. It only makes sense when I'm coming from the mind space of where they're at. And then I can explain things way more like, okay, they're really trying to do this with this and this and that. Like, wow. So, here we are, right? Empathy, projection, and perception. This is life forever. We experience each other, and then we get to project and perceive more based on our past experiences. So I know that they want to make everyone believe that they need a light outside of themselves. No matter what we name that light, they just want you to worship them. Make of yourself a vessel for light, a focus for the sun of this space. See, like right there, a focus for the sun of this space, a vessel for light. They're literally telling you to be filled up. Like it's so toxically masculine, as we're seeing. They want you to be a feminine spirit that hates your own emotions. So they have this big, thoughtful dick. And this big, thoughtful dick is going to make you feel so good when it fills you up. And it'll never stop filling you up. Just make sure you're always there to nurture that big, thoughtful dick because it feels good inside of your space. It's so happy to be inside of your space, being cuddled and nurtured by all your warm, soft feelings. This is metaphysically how it works, okay? Like this is literally dick and pussy. Like that is all of life. Like we're talking about something exiting a space and then having a space that the exiting thing can go into. That is literally the masculine and the feminine. This is then how sine waves get made and the vibration. So this is just constant. And this is what they desire and what they're creating. They are manufacturing spirits who hate themselves, who have low, awful emotions and feel like they need to give their sins to something else so that they can keep getting rammed by this dick and be like, I deserve this. I deserve this. And then they don't know that they're actually being abused because they've been convinced to believe that this is better than how they would treat themselves when they're alone. And it very well may be. That's why, like, you can't really look at someone in an abusive relationship and tell them to get out because they created that for themselves. Like, they're in there. Like, they're so abusive to themselves internally that they would rather get abused externally than be alone. And this is what it comes down to with, like, most abusive relationships. Because spirits create life. If you judge someone's relationship and you're like, oh, that looks abusive, it's like, well, awesome. You're learning about yourself. But you got to have the wisdom to know that they're constantly creating these circumstances for themselves. And you trying to step in and quote unquote help is you projecting your desire to separate this connection. And that inherently looks negative. No matter like how positive your intentions are. The point is that an intention separates connection. An intention is masculine. See how it works? So it doesn't matter. So that's where like you would have to let it be. Speak in the words of the dweller, the chant that calls down the light. Sing the song of freedom. Sing the song of the soul. Create the high vibration that will make you one with the whole. Disgusting, right? So again, just fill yourself up with this thoughtful cock because you don't like the way you feel when you're alone. That's literally just what Lucifer's whole agenda comes down to. So like all this white supremacy, all their governments and everything that they're coming from, just their entire space. Because this is what they have to do it on others. They hate themselves and they're getting full up with a light. So this is how the pyramid scheme works. So they can fully believe in this because they are the thing that they hate. They are the projection that they hate. So like they're super lost. Like they're super lost and they're projecting that lostness onto you, onto us, based on how they colonize everything that was created before them. And then, they're trying to understand it, but really they can't understand it. So they just rather steal it and then tell everyone else that they can't understand it. And then, use that technology to manipulate everyone, to make them dumber, and also make them think that the people who actually made that technology were somehow savages. It's so lost. Like, to truly like have that many negative emotions and hate your imagination so much that you only use your imagination to steal other people's imaginations. So European. Speak in the words of the dweller, the chant that calls down the light. Sing the song of freedom, sing the song of the soul, create the high vibration that'll make you one with the whole. Trying to spit bars, but that's whack bars. Blend all yourself with the cosmos, grow into one with the light. This is just a lostness. I would never say this to you. I would never say this to you. Be a channel of order, a pathway of law to the world. This is disgusting. A pathway of law to the world? No. Ugh. Your light, oh man, is the great light, shining through the shadow of flesh. Free must you rise from the darkness before you are one with the light. Shadows of darkness surround you. Life fills you with its flow. But know, O man, that you must arise, and your body must go forth, far to the plains that surround you, and yet are one with you too. Look all around you, O man. See your own light reflected. Aye, even in the darkness around you, your own light pours forth through the veil. Seek wisdom always. Let not your body betray. Keep in the path of the light wave. Shun the darkened way. Know that wisdom is lasting, existing since the all-soul began. Oh yeah, it's true, because wisdom is water, and water is freedom. And wisdom, like, when I say wisdom is water, that's just like the most tangible way, because water is almost truly the externalization of spirit. Water really is the externalization of spirit, really. Air is just what that looks like. Air is literally just what that looks like. But water really is that. Like, a spirit can be alone and in its infinite imagination for as long as it wants. But life does not begin until it desires to connect with a space or spirit outside of itself. So, like, infinite things are going on in the spirit realm, but like, or I really should say infinite things are going on in the astral realm, and then they're all being created by individuals from the spirit realm, that you would just have to have the true awareness of wisdom. True wisdom is knowing that you are an infinite individual and that you can do anything. If you are conscious, you yourself are your own child. And then your thoughts are your father, and your emotions are your mom. And then your spirit is who you truly are. And this is your box now. So this is how you're experiencing life. It's like you've logically boxed this out for yourself. So your spirit is nothing. Your thought is your man, your fire, your desire. And then your woman is your emotion, your connection. And then boom, those come together. Now you have your communication of yourself, which then becomes earth. That's whatever body you decide to be a child and communicate in. A bird, a dog, a human, whatever. Listen, O man, to the teachings of wisdom. Listen to the voice that speaks of the past time. I shall tell you knowledge forgotten. Yeah, wisdom is knowing that everything that you can see came from something unseen. And everything unseen came from nothing. And that nothing is so infinite we can't conceive it, because it's like it's nothing, but it's no thing. It's formless. It's infinite though. So like the spirit realm is like, yo. And then it's about when spirits desire to connect with other spirits who are also infinite, then it's like, yo, now we have water. And now we have the astral realm. And then the way that trickles down and becomes more stable is where we are now, where it's earth. And like time seems like it's moving so linearly, and we're meant to like take it as such or whatever. We're here to really ground our infinity. Let not your body be a fetter. Cast off the darkness and travel in light. Cast off your body, O man, and be free, truly a light that is one with the light. When you are free from the fetters of darkness and travel in space as a son of the light, then you shall know that space is not boundless, but truly bounded by angles and curves. Whoa! Wrong, wrong, wrong. They're crazy. That's lostness. So we know, come on. Like, you just heard what I just said. I just said that the spirit is formless. That also means boundless. That it's infinite. For them to literally say that space is not boundless. That's frustrating. Yeah, when you are free from the fetters of darkness and travel in space as a son of the light, you shall know that space is not boundless, but truly bounded by angles and curves. Because you are light. Light is bound by angles and curves. Light. Light is bound by angles and curves. This is so beyond. I'm so glad I'm here. This is crazy. Light is bound by angles and curves, and light is what the spirit looks like. Because they want to get you lost in light, they're going to tell you that space is bound by what light is bound by. Because they're not going to tell you that space is actually boundless, because they'd have to tell you that space is a spirit. No, they need to tell you that space is light. So they're trying to take my flower of life stuff and turn it into the lie, okay? Like I'm saying, like, it's all just weaponized truth. This is disgusting. But we are leveling up in the face of it, aren't we? Our demons make us stronger. Always. Almost always. Always. All the ways. Opposing thoughts make us stronger if we believe in our original thought. So that's why I say almost always. Because a lot of the time, the point of the opposing thought is to keep you safe. That's the point of, like, when you have fear. The, like, ultimate opposing thought is fear. So, like, no one really loves to be scared. People like to be scared in a safe way. But then that's where, like, that's really just chasing, like, a thrill. You don't want to, like, fear for your life. And then people who do fear for their life, well, and like to, I guess, like, those are the people who, like, pay hitmen to just, like, hey, come up to me on, like, a random day and, like, beat me up or something. I know people do that. Like, people will pay just to, like, get themselves kidnapped, so that they can have the thrill, literally, of, like, being kidnapped. And it's like, if they can ideally pay someone to do it, but then plan it so far ahead that they can, like, forget, and then it happens. That's, like, how they actually get off on it. It's interesting. The spirit truly creates life. Everything is an experiment. Everything. So this is why scientists, when they don't have emotions, they're just evil. Like, straight up. Because they're only in desire mode, right? So they're literally just like, okay, well, we can experiment and do anything to nature. We can do anything to black and indigenous people. Indigenous people that we lie and call black people. And now we're going to say that they're from Africa and somewhere else. And we'll just experiment on them constantly because we desire to. Because we want to. That's America. So this is life. All of life is created from desire. It's just that life doesn't exist inside of desire. Life exists inside of connecting, which is not desire. Like, you can't live in desire and connect with others. You are only connecting with yourself when you're living in full desire. That's what it means to be in full control of yourself and everything around you, right? That's fire. So the point of life is there's desire to be yourself, and then there's desire to connect with others. And these are basically, like, the two desires that are the polar opposites that allow life to happen. The desire to express your spirit, and then the desire to connect with other spirits, which means reflecting all of their imaginations. So that's why, like, that would be like all the low vibrations, quote unquote, and just being in a dark place, because now you're a womb able to let all these other lights project onto you, which is how spirits like to relate. Spirits like to see their light reflected back at them. We like to be with people that we agree with, so that we don't feel like we have to like defend ourselves or fight or like be walking on eggshells or stay on guard when we're expressing our fire and water through our air. Space is not bound by anything. Space is space. The moment space expresses itself, it needs to bind itself to something. And then that's where we have the word light. Because then it's just like light and weight. Like how dense is the thing that space is binding itself to. And then the denser that gets, it becomes flesh and earth. Versus fire. When you are free from the fetters of darkness and travel in space as a son of the light, then you shall know that space is not boundless, but truly bound by angles and curves. Know, O man, that all exists is only an aspect of greater yet things yet to come. Matter is fluid and flows like a stream. Okay? It's vibrational. Constantly changing from one thing to another. It's vibrational. All through the ages has knowledge existed, never been changed, though buried in darkness, never been lost, though forgotten by man. Know that throughout the space you dwell in are others as great as your own, interlaced through the heart of your matter, yet separate in a space of their own. Once in a time long forgotten, I, Thoth, opened the doorway, penetrated into other spaces. That's like a daily thing. What are you talking about in a time long forgotten? Well, let's see. And learn of the secrets concealed. Deep in the essence of matter, many mysteries are concealed. Open doorways like all the time. What? In a time long ago, and I got wisdom from something outside of me. Bro, this is lost. 9 are the interlocked dimensions, and 9 are the cycles of space. Okay. 9 are the diffusions of consciousness, and 9 are the worlds within worlds. I would like agree with that kind of. I mean, a lot of people would also say 12, and then one could say it was 12 times 12, 144 as well. So we keep open minds here. Because we're really just talking about, like, numbers is just categorizing literally the way the spirit moves so that we can build a system out of it. It's like that simple. So it's easy to like sit here and be like, okay, since we only have 9 numbers and it turns into 10, that's how many dimensions there are. But it's also like literally the fact that I can imagine a world where we just have a different number system. Boom. Like it's real, quote unquote. Because it's real as in I can play it over and over. And then honestly, if I play it over and over and I believe in it long enough and I can then communicate it, it will turn into earth here. So really, the point would be to note wisdom, true wisdom. All right. That's why these tablets aren't giving it to you. You're rolling with Chase though. All right. So we're going to give you true wisdom. Everything's made up. So it's really just about then getting to like the questions, because that's where you learn like the spirit is ultimately feminine, because like everything expands out of questions. The spirit is nothing, but to create life at all is ultimately feminine. So that's where it's just about like why are these things here? Asking why will get you a lot of places. School doesn't like us asking why. And then that's where like they work their hardest to come up with like fake logic to explain why. And then when it doesn't make sense, you have to have the discernment as an infinite individual to be like, yeah, well, you're lying. And then it's about like you learning about that spirit and like learning about their motivations and like why are they lying, and like being able to like project sort of into that space so that you can then see where they're operating from, basically. And then that turns into real stuff. So it all like becomes physical just from the ideas in general, because everything's ideas, right? So like the idea that there's just 9 is like limiting. I'm just, for the sake of relatability from everything that like we have to go with, like I can make it work. I can always make it work. But the fact is, the spirit is infinite. The spirit is infinite, and it is truly blasphemous to say that it's bound by anything. So these tablets, as we can see, are certainly not written by me. Yeah, the intention is to get everyone to worship the English language, the entities who made English, and give themselves to this source light, the simulation, and all this. And specifically the entities who made English, because I mean, the fact that people will be reading this in English and worshiping it and like being in this vibration, boom, like it's not a different language. So they're only underneath the creation of the entities who made that language. And those entities who made this language are then siphoning that spirit soul through them, using this light to express their individuality instead of their own light. Because if you use your own light to express your individuality, then no one can trap your soul. I wrote these tablets in my own light, baby. All right, we had our own language. We had our own languages. All right, we have many ways to communicate. It's not just a language. We have many ways to communicate. And the point now here is that everyone has been very much limited by the way white supremacy desires them to communicate. So here we are, making it work. Because the spirit always finds a way. Where there's a will, and it's always a will, there is a way. And we will be ascending through that way. We are the way. 9 are the lords of the cycles that come from above and below. Space is filled with concealed ones, for space is divided by time. This is so blasphemous. That makes space is divided? Bro, you can't divide space. And this is the paradox. This is why the spirit is like feminine, because we're all individual. But when we're all individually nothing, we are all just connected. We're infinitely connected. That's how we're creating life. Like we're just connected in our nothingness. So the moment we externalize ourselves and turn into something that's awesome, we can feel different, but the point is still nothing, because whatever was created out of nothing will have to go back to nothing. And then it's just like, what awareness are you as nothing able to do that with? And then that's like the point of lifetimes and getting reps in and like building worlds and doing it consistently and just expressing yourself consistently and connecting with other spirits consistently, because that's how we're actually creating life. So everything's happening at once in the spirit realm because it's nothing. The spirit has to create time to logically, linearly block out the way it experiences its emotions changing. And then from there, it even has to label like, well, what is an emotion? And like, when is one emotion a different emotion? Because it's just all a vibe. It's literally all just one feeling of experience, of externalization. So the spirit isn't feeling, but the moment the spirit wants to externalize itself, that is an intention which requires a feeling. And that feeling is the infinite feminine that this white supremacist society hates so much. Seek the key to the time space and you shall unlock the gate. Know that throughout the time space, consciousness surely exists, lost, though hidden from our knowledge, yet still it forever exists. Who cares about consciousness? Consciousness is just awareness, and you're only aware of yourself. Subconsciousness is where it's at. That's the astral realm. Subconsciousness is how your awareness is connected with every other awareness in existence. That's the subconscious, because your subconscious is how your awareness connects with you, and you are your spirit, and your spirit is simultaneously separate yet connected to all other spirits, because everyone is infinitely nothing. So we're all thing. We're no thing, but we're like space. So everything exists within space. There could never, like when these tablets talk like, oh, things outside of space and time, they're lost. They're just making things up as like little kids trying to manipulate you to enslave you on their whack ass slavery system. Because like literally everything is within space. Space is the spirit. Only the soul is space free. What? The key to worlds within you are found only within, for man is the gateway of mystery, and the key that is one with the one. Seek within the circle. Use the word I shall give. Open the gateway within you, and surely you too shall live. Man, you think that you live, but know it is life within death. For as sure as you are bound to your body, for you no life exists. Only the soul is space free and has life that is really a life. The soul is inside of space. The soul is a spirit feeling like experiencing itself. So then that becomes an infinite individual perspective on the universe, because the universe is all spirits experiencing themselves together. So you have an infinite individual perspective on how everyone is experiencing themselves together. You are the center of your own universe. These colonizers really not trying to have me saying that in any of this. This is remarkable. But yeah, they literally just can't enslave you. It's just like, it is weird to me because what kind of spirit, I guess, just really feels good doing that. But the point then is that these spirits are so enslaved themselves. This is where it becomes a very multi-level tiered system, a pyramid scheme, if you will. Think not that man is earthborn, though come from the earth he may be. Man is light-born spirit, but without knowing he can never be free. So right there, even, like light-born spirit. Like we can make that work with everything I said. Man is spirit, it's nothing, which is born into light. It, boom, came into light. And then the light is called man. And without knowing, he can never be free. Yeah. Darkness surrounds the light-born. Darkness fetters the soul. The soul is darkness. I mean, what? Like, bro. Only the one who is seeking may ever hope to be free. Seeking what? Like, they're literally trying to make you just run to things outside of yourself. Like, literally. Like, only one who is seeking may hope to be free. That's wild. No. You don't need to see, like, man. Shadows around you are falling. Darkness fills all the space. Shine forth, O light of the man soul. Fill the darkness of space. You are a son of the great light. Remember, and you shall be free. So this is literally just like going full Christian mode now. So it said man is light-born spirit, so he made that work. But now, no, you're a son of the great light. So everything is light. Space is bound by curves and angles because they want to make you believe that everything in existence was created by their great light. Remember, and you shall be free. Stay not in the shadows. Spring forth from the darkness of night. Light. Let your soul be, O sunborn, filled with the glory of light. Freed from the bonds of the darkness, a soul that is one with the light. You are the key to all wisdom. Within you is all time and space. Live not in bondage to darkness. Free your light form from night. You are the key to all wisdom. This is fact. Within you is all time and space. They're just, yeah, that's true. Live not in bondage to darkness. So darkness is just the emotions that you don't want to look at, okay? So your thought is an emotion that you do want to look at, your desire. And then your emotion in this case would be the desires that balance out your desires. So your anti-desires, your fears. And that's where like fears can be way more motivating than pleasures or whatever. Great light that fills all the cosmos, flow ye fully to man. Make of his body a light torch that shall never be quenched among men. Long in the past I sought wisdom, knowledge not known to man. Far to the past I traveled, into the space where time began. There's no space where time began. Every spirit has a different idea of time, and it's all happening at once because it's all nothing. So then it's just like trickling from like, then it's literally a vibe, bro. Like, come on. I never sought new knowledge. I ever sought new knowledge to add to the wisdom I knew. Yet I found only the future held the key to the wisdom I sought. Down to the holes of Amenti I journeyed, the great knowledge to seek. I asked of you, lords of the cycles, the way to the wisdom I sought. I asked the lords this question, where is the source of all? Answered in tones that were mighty, the voice of the Lord of the Nine. Free you thy soul from thy body, and come forth with me to the light. Forth I came from my body, a glittering flame in the night. I stood before the Lord, bathed in the fire of life. Seized was I then by a force, great beyond knowledge of man. Cast was I into the abyss, through spaces unknown to man. I saw the moldings of order from the chaos and angles of night. I saw the light springing from order, and heard the voice of the light. I saw the flame of the abyss, casting forth order and light. I saw order spring out of chaos. I saw light giving forth to life. Then I heard the voice, hear ye and understand. The flame is the source of all things, containing all things in potentiality. The order that sent forth light is the word, and from the word comes life and the existence of all. Let's break this down. In fact, put some more trees in here for the finale. We got like a couple more minutes left. So the all is created from the flame. This is true. Water is created from fire. The problem is, of course, they want us to worship their flame. So they're saying the flame. You are your own all. You are created from your own flame. Your soul is created from your own intention, like I'm saying. They just want us to worship their intention. So now they're making up this whole thing of like me being cast through this stuff, and I saw these things that then taught me that it's all coming from here. And like, is that true? It very well may be true, but like not like this. Not like this. I'm me. I'm like, no. Like I was, again, having the wisdom of like, I'm not about to go into light and get blinded by someone else's thing. Or at the very least, I'm not about to talk about it like it's everything. I know it's not everything. I would be like, oh yeah, this individual's creation. I wouldn't be like, this is the universe. What? That's not smart. What are you talking about? Where's the infinity? Where's the childlike, whoa, there's always something new because everything is new. And like, that's the universe. Come on, dude. They're capping. So the flame is a source of all things, containing all things in potentiality. That's imagination. So all of your feelings come out of your intention to express yourself. So that's where your all is your soul, and then that's your water coming from your fire. And all of us joining our imaginations together. So when all of us as spirits have imaginations that we desire to connect, we have to cool that into water. So then we connect. And that's creating the astral realm. Once we create the astral realm, we can unite our imaginations into that. And that's how we communicate it. And once we communicate it in this water, that's where we get air. And that's what water looks like. And then from there, it stabilizes into earth, which allows us to actually build, hold on to the structure, again, just ground the way that we communicate our imaginations and feelings in this infinite all space that we have created together based on resonating whatever imaginations we have. So then that's where you can learn a lot about a planet. Any planet you look at, you can learn a lot about the spirits who are creating it and the desires that they have based on what it's about. Like spirits who create Venus clearly desire to relate on love and pleasure and feeling good and being steamy. Whereas like spirits on Mars clearly like to relate on war and fire and like, you know, fighting and just aggression and anger. And really all that looking like passion, like progressing something, like just like that, which is very close to sun energy, but not quite that. Really, Mars helps fuel the sun. So we're just, and then the sun would be like full individuality, just like spirits who are like, I'm a sun. And that's why it's like colliding hydrogen or whatever energy forever. Because it's literally spirits just projecting their imaginations at each other constantly, just constantly. Whereas Earth, 70% water, we reflect a lot here. We reflect a lot. And then that's how we can communicate and actually build an atmosphere that allows us to sustain life. Shout out water, shout out reflection, shout out listening. So this is, the order that sent forth light is the word. Yeah, that's lost. And then the word comes life and the existence of all. Right. Okay, cool. And the word is just the logical coming from the vibration, because the word is always carried from the vibration. So life comes from the vibration. This is more Christian stuff. And again spoke the voice saying, the life in ye is the word. Wrong. Wrong. Find the life within ye and have power to use the word. Ugh. Life is the vibe. Your life is the vibe. The word is created from the vibe. You can't have a word without a voice. Like, that's so wild. Like, how do you have a word without a voice? That's just a symbol, but there's no animation behind it. There's no feeling behind it. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Christian stuff. Yeah. Trying to make you worship something outside of yourself so they can steal your soul and use it to build their own stuff. Long I watched the light flame, pouring forth from the essence of fire, realizing that life is but order and that man is one with the fire. All right, that's wild. I'll see you in part 13. We're out of here. Peace.